Okay, let's dig into this. Imagine a huge city, like Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. It's this economic powerhouse, right? But something really interesting is happening with how they grow food there. Urban agriculture is just booming, and it's not just for show or, a green lifestyle thing. It seems like it's coming from this really deep public mistrust of the normal food system. So today, we're looking at your sources to figure out, well, what's really driving this? What's the tech involved, and what are the big challenges?
Yeah, it's fascinating because this isn't simply an environmental push. It feels much more like a societal reaction, really. A response to what some call a crisis of confidence in food safety. We're going to try and connect those dots, from that public anxiety straight to these high-tech farms and what the government's doing strategically. HCMC is kind of carving out its own path here.
That phrase, crisis of confidence, that really lands. What's behind that? What exactly are people worried about?
It seems to be the absolute core driver. Consumers there are just deeply concerned about agrochemicals, pesticides, growth stimulants, things used in conventional agriculture. You even hear these stories, right? Like farmers apparently having one plot grown with fewer chemicals for their own family.
Oh, wow.
And another plot maybe using more stuff for the market. That creates this perception of risk, even links to things like cancer in people's minds. So that fear, it directly fuels this huge demand for food that's traceable, safe, grown locally, and people are actually willing to pay a premium for that assurance.
Okay, so that intense demand from consumers is sort of pushing a tech revolution in farming within the city. How does that work? What are they doing differently?
Exactly. That demand is making high-tech farming, necessary and viable. We're seeing things like hydroponics, growing plants in nutrient-rich water, no soil, and vertical farming as well, stacking crops in layers, often indoors. These methods mean much, much higher yield, sometimes up to 11 times more food from the same land area. And they're incredibly efficient with resources, using up to 95% less water than traditional methods.
95%, that's staggering.
It really is. And the government's leaning into it too. They have this urban agriculture development strategy. The goal is ambitious. They want high-tech farming to account for maybe 50–60% of the total agricultural production value fairly soon, like by 2025. Plus, there are national policies giving HCMC special incentives to attract investment, even piloting things like carbon credits for agriculture.
Okay, so you've got strong public demand, impressive tech, government support. It sounds incredibly positive. But is it benefiting everyone equally? Is there a downside here?
Yeah. This is where it gets a bit more complicated. It's really interesting. Despite all the success, economically and technologically, this kind of urban agriculture in HCMC, it's mostly a middle-class thing. The setup costs are high. And running costs, too. Think about the electricity needed for all those LED lights in vertical farms. So the food ends up having a premium price tag. Which means you get this kind of two-tiered food system emerging. More affluent people, they can afford the safe, locally grown, high-tech produce. They get that peace of mind. But lower-income communities who, by the way, often feel that exact same mistrust of the conventional food system, they're often priced out. They still have to rely on the very markets they're worried about. That's a real challenge, It could actually deepen existing inequalities.
Right, that's a critical point. So it's complex on the social side. What about the environment? You mentioned resource efficiency. Are there other benefits beyond just growing food? Is this part of a bigger climate strategy for the city?
Definitely. Beyond just the food itself, there are significant environmental pluses, co-benefits, you could call them. Expanding green space in a dense city like HCMC is crucial. They have a low ratio of green space per person currently. These urban farms, rooftop gardens, vertical farms, they all contribute. And that green space is vital for climate adaptation, especially flood mitigation. The plants and soil absorb rainwater. Studies suggest green spaces can cut stormwater runoff into sewers by, as much as 65%. That's huge in a flood-prone city.
Helps with cooling, too, I imagine.
Exactly. Helps fight the urban heat island effect, makes the city cooler, and it supports biodiversity, provides habitats for insects, birds. There's also this massive, largely untapped potential for a circular economy. Think about all the organic waste HCMC produces. It's like 60–70% of their municipal waste. Imagine composting all of that and turning it into nutrient-rich fertilizer for these urban farms. Really closing the loop.
So putting it all together, Ho Chi Minh City seems to be forging a really unique path. It's driven, fundamentally, by this powerful citizen demand for food safety, which is then shaping technology and policy.
It absolutely is. And maybe this leaves you with a question to think about. Can Ho Chi Minh City take this strong consumer-driven momentum, this bottom-up energy, and use it to build an urban food system that isn't just technologically advanced and productive, but one that's truly inclusive, one that's resilient for all its citizens? Can it avoid some of the economic viability issues for the mass market that other, maybe more top-down models like Singapore's have faced? Definitely something to mull over as you think about your own food, where it comes from, and who gets access to the good stuff.